Hey everyone, this is Chris, and today's video is called What If? But before I get started, I want to talk about the company Macy's. Okay? Macy's, did you know Macy's was founded in 1843? That's a long time ago, isn't it? And of course, we've seen some of the older movies, the black and whites back in the day of Macy's in New York, things of that nature, the parades, things of that nature, right? Macy's been around since 1843. It's a long time, right? And then they started to expand and build bigger stores and things of that nature over the years. And of course, in our current time, one of the major retailers, in America. Actually, as of 2012, they're the largest department store company by retail sales and the 16th largest retailer in the United States in 2013 in terms of revenue, as far as how much money they make. Okay. Now, that being said, um, some things have changed, lately now, but this is not something that just came out of the blue. Okay. In 2014, in January, it was mentioned that they are going to start utilizing cost reduction strategies to save $100 million a year. What did that include? Store closings, organizational changes, and laying off 2,500 employees. In 2015, January, it was announced that Macy's would close 14 stores nationwide, shift 830 workers from Macy's and Bloomingdale's. May 2015, Macy's joined American Express backed Plenty Rewards card, which shares with AT&T Mobility, Direct Energy Enterprise. Again, having to save some money. And then September 9th, just a few days ago, Macy's announced it would close 35 to 40 underperforming stores in early 2016. I just mentioned a few years ago, Macy's was the largest retailer in the United States by retail sales and the 16th largest retailer, which means there's only 15 other companies that do more revenue than Macy's. Did you know that as of 2014, those sales, $28.105 billion. What if? What if you're one of the employees right now that know that they're one of the 40 stores are going to be closing by 2016? What if all of a sudden all the other retailers in America look at Macy's, who is one of the biggest, and start looking at their own internal affairs and saying, you know what, we're not making as much money as we think we should either. What do we need to do to continue to be profitable? What if, come next Monday, someone tells you you're no longer needed? And do you care? See, a lot of people, for whatever reason, they just seem to think that it's just okay to just kind of go about your natural business every day, every week, every month, every year, and feel that it's okay to not think about the what ifs, not to be prepared, not to even care about it, not to think about it, not to say it, because if you say it, well, maybe something will happen. No, something will happen if you don't say it, because if you don't say it, it means it's not important to you. Because if it's important to you, you will always have it in your mind. What if? No, but who? Again, now let me take that back. There were some people who knew this was happening. The people up at the top, they knew this was coming down eventually. But the person who is at the shoe counter, they have no idea. There are some people at some of the Macy's who do not know that their store is closing. Believe that. There's, of course, most of the public that don't know. They're going to Macy's right now, just like I did the other day to switch out some shoes. Okay? There's people in that store who work there who didn't know that there was other stores closing, but they figure that theirs is because it's not doing that well. Underperforming. That's what I said, right? What if you are in a position to where your company is going to say, you know what, we need to cut costs. We need to remain profitable. We need to earn more money. And the only way to do that is to take away some of what we're losing. And in some cases, that's salaries. What if someone determines that what you do is not worth paying you anymore? What if someone finally figures out a way to let you go and it not be expensive? Do you know that the reason most people keep their jobs for a long period of time is because it's too expensive to replace them? There's an expense to replace an employee. There's an expense to recruit new people. Did you know that? Did you understand that? Do you care? Because the company has to care. The company's job is to be profitable. That's it. To take care of people is not their job. They get you to sign a piece of paper to say that's your salary or that's your hourly wage, and if you agree to it, that's what you're going to work at. And believe me, they will have you work at that as long as they possibly can, or find someone else who will do it for less. That's just the bottom line. Now, if your position is specialized, you might stay there for a good period of time, especially if you are a hard worker. There is value in hard work sometimes. But what if there isn't? What if they figure out, you know what? If we're going to increase these people's salaries, we have to decrease other people's salaries for us to stay in business as we are. Because I created this company to make money. I didn't create this company to put people through college. Ever think about that? You need to. What if? What if tomorrow you find out that Monday you're not going to be working anymore? What are you going to do? Get out your calculators. Get out your calculator on your phone, your computer, whatever, if you're watching this, and type in how many years you have been working. Okay? And type in how much money you have averaged over those years of work. Okay? And you multiply those two numbers. Say if it's 10 years and you've been averaging $20,000, 20, 30, 40, 50, $100,000 a year. Okay? Whatever the amount is, estimate it, multiply that out. That's how much money you've made in such number of years that you've been working. Okay? Now, whatever that amount of money is, how much of that money do you have right now in the bank? Now, if it's a lot of money, great, wonderful, you're cool. If it's not a lot of money, why? For most people, that amount of money is at least $250,000. At least. Okay? Why don't you still have that in the bank? Why don't you still have most of that in the bank? Half of it, quarter of it, a tenth of it? Because it wasn't enough. Why? Expenses, right? That's what most people will say. But no, that's not really the reason. The reason is you didn't get paid enough. You just didn't. Because if you don't have any money left over, and you've been working as hard as you have, or as long as you've had, making whatever amount of money that you were making, and you don't have any money left over, it wasn't enough, was it? You can't, by the math, can't say that, can you? That was enough. Oh, I was getting by. Why do you got to get by? Ever thought about that before? What if? What if you could do more than just get by? Would you? Or is it okay for you to be content with what someone decides that you are worth, and you get paid that until they might decide to give you a raise, might decide to give you a promotion? What if? You have to start saying these things out loud for them to make sense. Because again, if you've been making $50,000 a year for the last 10 years, how much money is that? Exactly. And you don't have that in the bank right now, and you're borderline maybe struggling after making all that money that you've been making. Again, people brag about sometimes how much money they make each year, but you take that by the month and you take that by every 2 weeks, and there's people who don't have any money left after they've gotten paid those 2 weeks, that $4,000 or $5,000 check, and they barely have anything left over. I know a friend of mine says that he lives in an apartment in this city, okay, in Columbus, Georgia, and he makes over 60, 70,000, I think he said, and he's struggling. Now, mind you, he is married. Okay, so that might be some of it, maybe. But so let's say if he lives in an apartment, let's say he has 2 vehicles, right? All the utilities and things of that nature that come with an apartment in the vehicles. And I'm to suppose that his wife is also working. How is that not enough? If it was in Atlanta, I could almost see it maybe to an extent, but even then, because think about it. If he's living in an apartment, even if it's a luxurious apartment, what might be, he could be, and this is Columbus, he could be paying $1,500 a month, maybe, but I doubt it. Not in Columbus. Okay? And you take utilities and things of that nature, you take a couple of car notes and insurance and the gas every month, you talk groceries, clothes, things of that nature. 70,000 a year, and whatever the wife was making, that's not enough. That's probably over 100 grand a year, probably between the two of them. You mean to tell me that you're scraping by on that? That's a problem, right? Because it either means he's still not getting paid enough, right? Or the cost of living is too high. Again, if the bills are doing this, but your income is just staying the same, but your bills still do this, eventually you run out of money. And then what if your income is doing this? And you're staying at that place because you have to stay there because you don't think you're going to get something somewhere else. That's a problem, isn't it? Don't you think? What if? What if at a certain point that wasn't so much of a problem anymore? What if there was something you could do about it? Would you do it? Because a lot of people do have choices, you know. They can move to another city. They can learn more information about the job that they have, or learn more information about a different type of work that they can get into. They can become more knowledgeable and again, add value to someone wanting to hire you and pay you a certain wage or whatnot. But again, if you don't really care, it'll never happen. It won't matter. You will get by on $2 an hour and figure out a way to make it work because you're just happy to get $2 an hour. There are people out there right now. What if there are people out there right now that have not worked for a year and they refuse to do anything else but look for work until someone decides to maybe hire them, maybe and hire them at a less rate than what they were used to be getting paid, which means they're not in any better position and basically are getting worse. But for the sake of wanting to have a job and work, they're willing to work 100 hours a week between 3 jobs to get by. Does it matter to most people? No, they don't. It doesn't matter. They don't care because they're still doing it, right? And you know who some of those people are, right? What if there was a way to not have that happen? Would it matter to you to find out what that possibility is? Or would you just ignore everything on earth and just keep doing what you're doing until you get laid off? Like the hundreds of people that are getting laid off between now and 2016 at Macy's who don't have a backup plan probably because they weren't expected to be leaving the largest retailer in the United States. What if? If you have kids, that what if should be real important to you because if they can't take care of themselves yet, they're depending on you. And if you're depending on someone else who's not really depending on you that much, what if? Are you prepared for the worst case scenario? I wrote an article about that a year ago when Coca-Cola was laying off people and all kind of Walgreens had closed stores, Wendy's, all kind of different corporations, name brand corporations. I mean, at a certain point, what if has to be important to you, or do you not care? Again, you have to say these things out loud. I don't care that I'm not making enough money. I don't care that out of 168 hours a week, I work 100 of them. I don't care. Because if you say that, you shouldn't be complaining about anything. Why are you complaining online that it's 9:01 and you wish you weren't there and you're waiting for 5:01 every day? You hate who you work with. You hate the boss. You hate the things that you do. Why are you complaining if you don't really care? Because you're not willing to do anything about it. Why tell all of us how much you hate where you work? That doesn't make any sense. Why bring us down just because you don't want to do anything about it? That's what it comes down to. That's the real of it. What if? What if you can change? What if you couldn't change? There is no reason why you can't change something that you don't like. People do it all the time, right? So why would it be different than the money that you make every day, every week? Oh, by the way, you're not making any money every day because you have to wait for those 2 weeks for you to get paid, right? So you're working for free because people be, oh, well, I need to make money every day. I need to make cash. I saw a person post something saying, I will be your friend if you pay me. Hire me to be your friend. I saw it. I should almost copy paste it and post it and do it like that. I will be your friend. It was somebody in New York. So if people are so desperate to work for someone else just to be their friend, I saw all kind of other crazy stuff. I'm not going to mention those things. But how desperate are they really, though? Because what if they could just take all the skills and abilities that they've learned, whether it be through working or being in school? Again, if a person taking the time and the money and the investment and the risk of getting that piece of paper and they still can't get hired, again, if they're posting their resume and stuff like that and they have degrees and all this kind of stuff and they're not working, how long are they willing to let that go like that? They have taken the time and the responsibility and the dedication to go through 2, 3, 4, 6 years of school and they're not working. Are they really willing to wait for someone to see if they have value or not for a year, 2 years, 3 years and not work, not have any income coming in? Most of these people can't apply for unemployment, by the way, because they made too much on their last job, right? I remember being out of work for a year. It's happened. It was between 2008, 2009, 2010, somewhere in there. I've been out of work for a year, trying to apply for this and that, working a little odd this and that, just to have something coming in or whatever until someone hired me. Even though my resume should never allow me to ever be out of work. It happens, though. I've been homeless despite my resume before. Okay? So, but at the same, it's at a certain point, what if? See, I remember seeing some people who were homeless not try to do anything to get themselves back on their feet to be able to go and apply in the workplace. You can't just be homeless and then be unhomeless, and that happens in a quick amount of time. It don't work like that. Believe me, I know. Okay, but at the point where you're back, you're in a better place. You go out and put some resumes out. Those people who hired me didn't know I was actually, well, one person did. One person, the person who hired me, did because I had to tell them, but nobody else knew. And then eventually I got me a new place and I got me a crib and got all the stuff that I lost when I became homeless or whatnot. But at the end of the day, I was trying. See, there's other people that I saw, they've been in the system for a while. When I say a while, I mean years. They circumvent this and circumvent that, and they go to this shelter and that shelter and all this kind of stuff. It's crazy. Years of just taking money that's being given to them. Some people, it is what it is. But again, what if? What if you never had to be in that situation? What if you could get yourself out of that situation? That was when I had to decide, I had to get serious about doing something different to say I can't be put in that position again for people making that decision that I'm not good enough for them. Whether it be skin color, whether it be I'm too smart, whether it be I'm too overqualified. What if someone tells you that you're overqualified, you've been there for 5 years, and they decide that you're overqualified? It can happen. I was at a job for 2 months, and they came and told me I was overqualified. They were willing to pay me until I found me a new job. That's crazy, right? It's happened. I've been at 2 jobs where I've been asked to come back. And how much would it take for you to come back? It's happened. But it doesn't matter. For most people who are even watching this, it doesn't matter. They're happy with whatever amount of money that they're making. They've made it work. And they're cool. And there's nothing wrong with contentment to an extent. But what if? If you're not allowed to work, you can't make no money. Have you ever thought about that before? I'm getting money. About to go to the job so I can get this money. I'm about to get this cash flow. If somebody doesn't hire you, are you getting money? Are you? Unemployment don't count. It doesn't. I'm just trying to tell you, it does not. So if someone disallows you from earning money because you're not on the clock, what are you doing? Have you ever thought about that before? Are you really willing, I should say, can't say that 5 times fast. Are you willing to go without until someone feels that you're worth it? Some people are, I guess. But again, what if Monday you are laid off, fired, terminated, or forced to leave for whatever reason? Maybe you're harassed or whatever it is, right? And you gotta go. Okay? How long before you're in trouble? How much money do you have in the bank to where you can hold off? When I had gotten laid off one time, I had enough to pay rent for a couple of months, okay, and be able to look for work, things of that nature, eat and all that kind of good stuff. But some people are not in that position. Some people, if they don't get paid next Friday, they're in trouble right then and there. They are living paycheck to paycheck to paycheck. They have 17 cents left when they get paid, which means whatever money they made on that first check, that's when they got food, because otherwise they're not going to eat. That's scary, but people live that every day and they act like it doesn't matter. It don't matter. What if, though? You have to speak these things out loud because that's when it starts making sense. Because Macy's is closing 35 to 40 stores before 2016. There's people who are going to be unemployed, maybe some of them for the first time ever. It's going to be scary. And most of them do not have a way to get any other type of work. Because some of those other retailers aren't going to be trying to hire them. Dillard's ain't going to be trying to hire them, right? Think about this. All the department stores that are still open, they don't have no place. They don't got nowhere for those people to go. And if those people, they only have the skills of retail and they don't want to do anything else, they're in trouble, aren't they? Think about that. There's people who will refuse. That's why they've been in retail all their lives. That's what they like to do, whatever the case, right? But what if they're forced to leave something that they like to do and they need to do something else? Why are people so abhorred with the fact of working for yourself could work? Making your own money first could work. Getting paid first could work. Why? Because what if it could work? Have you ever thought about that? Whatever the company is that you create, lawn service, painter, plumber, electrician, there's some really good people out there who know about electricity, but they won't get paid themselves. They'll work for someone else forever, though, because they think it's safe and they think it's guaranteed. It's not. Nothing is guaranteed. Having your own business is not guaranteed for that matter. There's McDonald's that close. Believe it or not, if you don't know that, look it up. There's a website that tells you companies that are closing, people that are laying off people, the whole 9 yards. All you got to do is look up and down that website and be like, oh, wow, I didn't know that. What if it's you? What if it's the plant that you've been working at for 30 years? What if it's you? What if it's the school district that you've been working at forever? What if it's you? But you can educate people on one end or the other. You can build things on your own, one way or the other. Why can't you make your own money doing it? There's some really good cooks out there. Why can't you do something on your own? Small at first, get bigger later. Why not make your own money? What's the problem with that? Is it because you just don't care? That might be one. Is it because you don't believe that you can do it? That could be it. Is it because people are around you tell you that you shouldn't do it? That's the main reason, unfortunately, for a lot of people why they don't do anything. Because people around them who don't pay no bills in their household tell them that you don't need to do it, you're no good, you're sorry. You need to just be with us. Stay at the job with us forever because we down like that. What if? What if that is not enough for you? What if that is not enough for you and your family, especially if you have kids? If you don't have kids, that's one thing. But once you have a kid, there's responsibility level and accountability that you have to pay attention to. So what if you are caught up in the restructure of a company that says they no longer need you, what are you going to do? Have you thought about it before? Are you ready to think about it? Okay, everybody has circumstances. Let me say this too. Sometimes you stay in an area because of family. Okay, that's fine. Sometimes you stay in an area literally because you do like the area. That is true. Okay. Sometimes you stay in an area because you think that it will get better. That's true. Okay. But if you're staying in the area and there's not some of those reasons, and you have no real reason to stay somewhere, you have no real attachments, and you continue to complain about not getting enough money from your efforts every day, you need to move. Stop playing. If it's an education thing, get the education that you need. Otherwise, again, why complain about stuff that you are unwilling to change? The things that you can change and you don't change, that's your fault. And you need to, and that's what you have to say these things out loud. Now, if you've moved and you still can't get nothing done, again, how long are you going to submit to not having enough income coming into your household and not paying all the stuff that you need? At a certain point, something has to change, right? If you're willing to change them, what are you going to do? Have you done any research? Have you used Google at all? In the last, I don't know how many years that Google has existed. There's $1 billion company on its own right? You have to think about it. You deserve to think about it because things change in a heartbeat. Okay? In the last year, I've lost people in passing away that you again, it comes out of nowhere. I just had 2 people that I've known for a while pass away yesterday, same day. You don't know. You just don't know. So, that being said, are you ready to do something else? Are you ready to start thinking about what you need to do more? Do you need help putting something together eventually to say, you know what, I could start my own business from scratch? One of the things that I do is I help consult for people who are trying to start a business from scratch. I also help people who they don't want to go through the time of building a company from scratch, but they're willing to take something existing and make it their own and earn money. I do both of those things. So if you would like some help, if anything that I've said has made sense, if you watched it all the way to this point and you feel that it is worth it to at least ask a question or two, you can call 305-204-1826. Okay, that's my business line. You can visit my website, www.innovativeenterprises.com. That's with one E, Innovative Enterprises, and just leave the E in the middle, .com. That way you can see some of the services that I provide for people who are in business already and they need help growing it, or they haven't started a business. You can see that I've done some stuff for a lot of different people. Okay. But you have to make a choice because that what if is now. That what if question is every day now. All you got to do is turn on the news, read the paper, listen to the radio, and see there are changes that are happening. Some of them benefit people, but most of them don't. And you don't want to get caught up and it be Monday, and that's when you find out that that what if applies to you. You don't want that to happen and then not have no backup plan, nothing to go on, and then you lose everything. Don't do it. It's not worth it if you can avoid it. So that being said, I hope that you enjoyed this video. Hopefully you share it a little bit. I would appreciate that, of course. If you see it, of course, if you're watching this on YouTube, you see my page and information there. So definitely let people know that what if is now. And you have to want to change it so that it does not affect you. This is Chris. Y'all take care. Enjoy the rest of the weekend. Peace.